Hi guys, it's Lana, and as you know, this is the Second Breakfast Club. So really quickly, I want to do an introduction to this series I'm about to do with my dad. I'm going to slap this at the beginning of every video in the series, so if you've already seen it, feel free to skip ahead. If not, please listen, just to help kind of clarify what we're going to be doing here. So as a lot of you know, Bangtan universe is basically solved at this point. There are webtoons coming out, there's novels coming out. The purpose of this series is not to solve the story. I'm not going to be telling my dad anything that won't help understand basic symbolisms. Like I'll tell him what the Jimin book is when we get into the Wings short films because that's, you know, important. But I'm not going into deep theories. He's probably not going to get deep into every individual character or anything. I just wanted to see what this story looks like to fresh eyes, like eyes that have really never followed BTS or studied BTS, eyes that know mostly like literary symbolism and artistic composition, and just get his fresh, honest take on this. So with that in mind, I just want to make sure that when you leave comments or talk about this video that you consider what the actual goal is. I know in the past when we've done similar things, we've gotten feedback like, oh, you didn't talk about this book or you didn't talk about this thing. That's not the point here. The point is just fresh eyes. So don't go into this expecting anything intense. If you want more in-depth stuff, you can watch my actual theory videos. Although again, it's pretty much solved at this point, which is why I'm still unsure if we're even going to do the highlight reels and beyond, because that's on the webtoon. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this series, and I hope that it gives you a fresh perspective on things. It certainly was nice for me to go back and experiencing things for the first time almost again. It's really lovely. So enjoy and have fun.
Are you ready? Okay.
She's like, I am trying to sleep, fools. All right. So now, guys, I don't know why I keep doing this at the beginning of everything. We're starting.
How?
So now we're on to the second short film called Lie. And this is Jimin. So he is the one who was drowning in the bathtub a couple different times. Okay. He is also the one with the orange hair in the last video who was in the prison with the other one who starts the pillow fight. Yeah, or you interpret it as a prison. I'm not saying it's a prison.
I was saying it was a prison.
Yeah, just so people aren't like, why are you telling me it's a prison? Because this video might actually clarify things a bit. But that's the one. So he's the one who... his symbols tend to be water, bathtubs, and it's very clearly like depression. Like it's water sadness, you know, things like that. So this is called Lie.
Drowning in tears.
Yes, or just water as symbol. I'm not saying this is what the theory is, but in literature, water is also often a symbol of being deep thoughts, like stuck in your own head. So, too much self-reflection sometimes, drowning, things like that.
Totally immersed in yourself.
Exactly, but in like a, not in a narcissistic way, in a beating yourself up way. And again, not saying that's what's going on here, guys, but I'm talking way too much. So this is a lie.
Yeah, he's lying right now.
Right. 3, 2, 1, go.
My parents' house made up one rhythm. This rhythm was familiar to me in almost every way. Mother and father, love and strictness, model behavior, and school.
I love this short film so much, you guys. Guys, it's on a playlist, so sorry it hops. It's a lie. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, basically, it starts out with talking about how his parents had specific expectations for him. He will, and basically the model citizen, you follow the rules, you do everything just so. But inside, he was not that kind of person. He did not want to live that kind of life. He didn't see himself as that kind of person. And he's sitting there trying to fit in the ink blots there. At first, I was trying to figure out what kind of ink blots they were. But then they ended up with apples and taking a bite of an apple.
Mm-hmm.
It represented that kind of life, that kind of healthy life.
Mm-hmm.
And then they showed the drug addiction type stuff. Basically, like it's all of these lies are like a medication to try to keep him from being who he thinks he is, or to hide from who he is. Is drug addiction part of his persona?
No, that's a different character.
Okay. Because I saw that cocktail of
Yes.
drugs and a medical bed.
Yes.
And so that's why I was kind of wondering if that was part of that.
So again, very up for interpretation.
Right.
It's widely accepted that when the pills look like that, that it's actual medication, like
Okay.
from a doctor. a
Okay, so in other
prescription.
words, they're trying to tranquilize him, try to keep him sedate, try to keep him from being out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't feel he's in the box. He sees that being inside the box as a type of hell
Mm-hmm.
for him. And that's the symbolism of fire, the backwards rain,
Mm-hmm.
raining up,
Yeah.
and then the lie is coming up through the water and then back. It's kind of like everything's reversed. It's all a lie. It's all fake.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to move his perspective to see that viewpoint for other people. But he doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Is that kind of
Again,
where I'm going?
it's art, man.
I just saw that the drugs, to me, and from my Western background, that's an addiction.
Yeah.
Because there were so many of them, and they were in a cocktail glass, like if it was,
Like a drink,
like a drink that you would take for fun or recreation, rather than something you would take it. If I'd seen a medicine bottle,
Yeah.
that would have been a different symbol to me.
So you could definitely be right. I'm not
Right.
countering anything. In the past, and even not really spoilery, but in the future, there's kind of a theme of over medicating your children.
Okay.
So like similar to how we talk here about how easy it is for kids to be put on ADHD or depression pills or anything
Right.
like that.
A
So-
drug martini is
Exactly.
like that.
So I have in my personal interpretation, when they use the orange and white pills as opposed to like the white pills that the one guy ate a bunch of at the beginning of the first video,
Okay.
that it's symbolic of like society is literally trying to tranquilize him. Like he has trouble, put him on a medication.
Right.
And the medication never seems to end.
Keep him in line. Keep him from.
And I believe that's why he's in a
being
hospital
out
bed.
of there. Mm-hmm.
One thing that you didn't notice, I didn't want to say anything about because I like your interpretations, is when you're talking about prison cell in Run, there are IVs behind that bed, so it's more like a hospital room.
Okay, could be. So basically, it's more on the line of he's depressed and they're trying to deal with it with medication, and he doesn't want to be on medication, but he's still depressed.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to get out of the lie of who he's trying to pretend to be, because he's trying to make everyone happy with who he is, but he doesn't feel like that's who he is.
Yeah.
So he's depressed.
Yeah. And I didn't mention those things because I think it still falls into your narrative. Right. You know what I mean? And again, it's art. Interpret these however you want, because I think of all of them, Lie is probably my personal favorite because I read a lot into it.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily for the reasons you're saying, but just that's why I like this art, because we can see different things and they all apply. Mm-hmm. They're all correct. And I agree mostly with what you were saying about this one too. I'm writing this line in these after talks if I should give you any of my thoughts or not, because I don't want to taint you and your impressions of things.
I can always just ignore what you say.
Well, the only thing
I'm pretty good at that.
The only thing I'm thinking is I always found, because they're playing with some Western culture, it very interesting that he takes a bite of an apple and then turns the gaze to basically freedom. It's a painting of the outside. I always wonder if that apple is supposed to be like an Adam and Eve reference.
I was wondering the same type
Fruit
of thing,
of
but
knowledge.
like I say, it's the wrong kind of symbol for that. But it's putting things in a martini glass, because that's called, making it a medical cocktail.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Western also.
Yeah, I think that it's important. Western culture, bits of it, are so played with, especially in K-pop, that it's really cool to think about interpreting these from an Eastern mindset, and I think a lot of it's there, but also you should never discount Western symbolism because it's just as popular there.
Or is it more that they're trying to make sure that it's more widely understood by us?
I mean, there's that fact too, but also Christianity is one of the top religions in South Korea.
Right. Well, the influence is quite there. It's just so predominant in it. It's kind of
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was just what always made me curious in that video. Is this an Adam and Eve reference? Like, pills sedate you, but eating the fruit of the knowledge, I always found that interesting to think about, but that doesn't mean that's what they're talking about.
The second ink blot that had all those little, V part things in it, little things. What's that?
Oh, I'm going to actually, I'll put up a picture for you guys to see. I actually wanted to go back,
because what that ink blot is.
It's flipped up so quickly.
Yeah, because I couldn't quite make out the first one. I didn't understand until later when he was biting the apple.
Yes, because it's that same one.
Because that's what that ink blot is. It's close to the beginning.
This one, it's important to show, and it will come up again because it's not technically his symbol. So it actually
wasn't up there long enough.
It actually says Eva. Eva is a character from the book.
Okay.
Jimin.
Because all I could see were the little V's around.
Yeah, and I think you're meant to, because it's flashed so quickly, and this symbol does come back in a different character's film. So what I can say in terms of the book, Eva is the name of Demian's mom.
Okay.
And she's kind of the symbolism of motherly comfort in the book for Sinclair. So when he would think about anything,
as in Adam and Eve.
Exactly. So if you think of anything like warm and homey and motherly and caring, that's who Eva was symbolizing in the book.
Are you sure it wasn't the Disney character Eva?
Right? That'd be even cuter. But so that's who Eva
Yeah.
is in the book. It's up to you to decide why that was here or why it's used later. You know what I mean?
Okay. Because it didn't seem to fit.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been talking about this stuff with the Apple. The Apple is even a part of the Demian book.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't keep saying, oh, this is just because of the book, because there's a reason they chose that element.
Right.
You know, you understand. I'm sure a lot of you watching understand, but that's one of my criticisms of the theory community, actually, is a lot of them will go, oh, yeah, he's eating an apple because Sinclair eats an apple in the book. They don't even stop to think, well, why would they take that element and put it in this video? You know what I mean? So I think it all
even the words Demian, it means basically it's a play off.
I do believe it's a play off of Demon.
So Demon,
or Damien, even.
Eve, the apple, all that kind of stuff. It's all Western culture symbolism.
Yeah, and the apple in the book even was kind of an element, a part of the plot that was a turning point that brought Sinclair to Demian. So, I mean, it's...
Mm-hmm. And the other ink blot had the little bits of feather on it. So that's part of a wing, correct?
The other ink blot was his circle with that bite of the apple taken out of the side.
There was another one. The one with the little piece.
I thought it was the same one twice. I could be wrong, though. Oh, I wish. So there's the apple. And then Eva is... Oh, Eva's
There's
there,
Eva.
so maybe it's earlier. Oh, that one.
What's that one?
Was that Jungkook's?
I think that...
Oh, here.
Yeah, I think
So
that's
it's
the
begin.
feathers.
Yes, exactly. You were right. That's the feather symbol for begin for the first video. So they showed him in order.
So
begin,
feathers,
lie, and then Eva.
The apple, because the apple is the lie. That, in Adam and Eve, the lie was that if you bite this, you're going to live forever. And it's not quite true.
Well, it's also, you're going to gain knowledge.
Well, you're going to gain knowledge.
The knowledge of good and evil.
But it was built on a lie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, guys, we're getting deep.
Okay.
All right, so next we're going to do Stigma, which I know is a fan favorite. So if you want to see it early, go on over to the Patreon. And if you can't afford it, just hang out and you'll see it next week.
Live long and prosper.
Yes, until next time. Live long and prosper. Also, like, comment, subscribe to both of us, okay? Bye.
Bye.